Part I, the crossroads of approval. There is a specific, sobering moment in every person's life when you realize that no matter what you do, some people will never approve of you. This isn't because you are inherently flawed or doing something wrong, it's because their approval was never actually about your actions. It was about their expectations, which were often designed for a version of you that you were never meant to become. This realization is both liberating and terrifying. Once you understand that pleasing everyone is a mathematical impossibility, you face a stark choice: keep trying anyway and vanish into the background, or accept that being disliked is the inevitable price of living an authentic life. Most of us spend our lives at this crossroads. We live in a version of ourselves that makes everyone else comfortable, but makes us miserable. We realize that the cost of approval has finally become higher than the cost of disapproval. It's time to stop the performance. Part I, the neuroscience of rejection. Why is it so hard to be disliked? Society tells us to be agreeable and not make waves, as if social harmony is more valuable than personal honesty. But psychology reveals a deeper truth: the need to be universally liked isn't kindness, it's a manifestation of fear. Our brains are designed to protect us, and they treat social rejection as a literal physical threat. Neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger's research shows that exclusion activates the same pain centers in the brain, the anterior cingulate cortex, as physical injury. When you are disliked, your nervous system processes it as harm. This is a survival instinct. For our ancestors living in small tribes, disapproval meant exile, and exile meant certain death. Your brain hasn't caught up to the modern world. It still responds to a stranger's disapproval or an internet comment as if it were life-threatening rejection. We twist ourselves into impossible shapes to stay safe, sacrificing our authenticity for approval from people who will likely forget us by tomorrow. Part I, the birth of the false self. When we prioritize other people's comfort over our own truth for long enough, we develop what psychologists call the false self. It starts with small accommodations: agreeing with an opinion you don't share, laughing at a joke that isn't funny, or pursuing a career path because it's what is expected of you. These compromises compound over time until your real preferences are buried. The cruelty of this pattern is that the more successfully you perform the false self, the more praise you receive. People love the accommodating version of you, the one that never challenges or contradicts. Your brain learns a dangerous lesson: authenticity is dangerous. Performance is safe. This often begins in childhood. Many people pleasers learned early that disapproval had consequences: a parent's anger, a teacher's disappointment, or a peer group's cold shoulder. We learned to read the room and edit ourselves in real time. By adulthood, this self-monitoring is so automatic that the authentic version of you starts to feel like a stranger. Part IV, unconditional self-regard. Research on well-being reveals that people who live according to their own values report significantly higher life satisfaction. This isn't because they are arrogant. It's because they have learned to separate other people's opinions from their own sense of worth. They view disapproval as information, not a verdict. It tells you about the other person's preferences, but it doesn't determine your value. The psychologist Carl Rogers called this unconditional positive self-regard. It is the ability to maintain a stable sense of worth that isn't dependent on external validation. Those who have the courage to be disliked haven't necessarily stopped caring. They have simply stopped treating disapproval as evidence of their unworthiness. Part V, the loneliness of the performer. There is a particular, hollow loneliness that comes from being liked for a version of yourself you've performed. You can be surrounded by people and still feel unseen because, deep down, you know they don't like you, they like the mask. Behind every "I don't want to cause problems" is the quiet admission: I don't trust that I am acceptable as I am. One day, however, the exhaustion of the performance outweighs the fear of rejection. This isn't rebellion, it's self-preservation. You realize that being liked for someone you're pretending to be feels emptier than being disliked for who you actually are. At least the dislike is honest. Part VI: the quiet revolution when you stop trying to be universally liked. You don't lose everyone. You lose the people who were only there for the performance. What remains are the resilient relationships, the people who can handle your complexity and value honesty over comfort. This requires the daily courage of small authenticity. It's the courage to set a boundary, to speak an unpopular truth, or to pursue a goal that others find foolish. Every act of authenticity requires you to override your nervous system's alarm. Authentic people don't have less stress. They just have different stress. They trade the exhaustion of self-betrayal for the temporary discomfort of external disapproval. Conclusion: waking up. If you are tired of being agreeable, you are broken. You're waking up. You are realizing that being misunderstood is still better than being invisible. The people who matter won't need you to be perfect. They will need you to be real. One person who loves your truth is worth more than 100 who loved your performance. This isn't about